All right, this is Chloe. Hello, Chloe. And you're going to see with her body language, she's going to have a little bit of a reach for her. She's a little bit standoffish of people that she doesn't know. And I think the reason for that is her right there. That's Aurora. Aurora. And Aurora was not socialized. She kind of came into the family. There was a lot of stuff going on and some negative stuff that was really unpleasant. I think that she didn't get socialized, and there was a lot of stress, I'm sure, from the family when she came in. And as a result, you hear she barks like she is now. And because Chloe here is about a 7-month-old puppy, she took our puppy classes, but she's a little bit submissive. And right there, you can see her body on it. She's kind of ducking her head down and kind of moving away. She was keeping her distance, and she was growling occasionally or barking at Hunter here when he would move unexpectedly. So I'm going to have her come over again. Go ahead and call her.
Chloe.
And then just raise your other hand up. Put it down on your knee and then raise it kind of quickly. So she's not doing it now, but she was kind of darting away. And so basically in this video, I want to go over some tips that you can use if you have a dog that's fearful. So first thing that I'm going to have Hunter do is call her now.
Chloe.
And what he's going to do is he's going to show her act like you have a treat.
Chloe.
There we go. So now tell her to sit and give her a treat for sitting. Now, what a lot of us think is petting a dog is a positive thing, which it is. But what I'm going to have Hunter do is demonstrate a great way to interact with an insecure dog. So he's going to reach, actually, let's put the treats away at this point. Now, we've worked a lot on this. We probably should have shot this video earlier because now you see how close she is to him. So I'm going to have him pull his hands back to his chest. He's going to reach for her to pet, but he's going to stop at 90%. And well, now we've already been working on this, but typically what happens is when you reach for the dog and you stop at the 90%, if it's a fearful dog, a lot of times the dog will want to move away. They'll turn their head or they'll take a step back or they'll kind of duck their head down. And so what we like to do with fearful dogs is reach about 90% of the way and stop. Let the dog take that last 10%. So that way the dog, and use your other hand and kind of do it across your knees. There you go. And kind of reach around your knees, kind of like this. There, pull your arm back and kind of do this sort of motion. So you saw she was almost lurched back a little bit. So what we do is we offer our hand at that last 10%, and the dog comes and takes that last 10%. That helps the dog feel empowered. So the dog feels like I'm the one that is initiating the contact, not the person coming and petting me, whether I don't want to or not. And again, for Chloe or any dog, if you reach to pet the dog and the dog turns its head away or turns to the side, that's the dog's way of saying, I don't want you to pet me. The more that you listen to the dog and don't pet the dog, the more the dog feels like this is a powerful way for me to communicate. Now, the little one, Aurora, who's right about there under the couch, she's learned by barking at people nonstop, it causes them to leave. Some dogs learn by nipping at people that reach for them, that causes them to move away. And so you have a dog that's not really aggressive, but learns to act aggressively to get the dog to move away. So the first thing you want to do is, like I said, reach for the dog and stop at 90%. And if it stops, then just wait. No, we're not going to eat my Propel. And then wait and try again. So eventually the dog will listen to you and will start coming back to you for that last 10%. And then you can actually reach to pet him. Now, when you pet him, I'm going to have Hunter go ahead and call her over, and then he's going to show you where to pet. So we like to pet under the chin. We like doing that because when the body mechanic for a proud dog is to have its nose in the air. If you reach over and pet a dog on top of its head, a lot of times they duck and cower down, and they're practicing an insecure body mechanic. So what we want to do instead is we want to reach underneath their chin when they're comfortable with us petting them, and like he's going to do right there. Now you got the reverse sneezes. So right there, I would have wanted Hunter to go ahead and just start petting. Now, Hunter's being a little bit cautious because she's, for the last 2 hours, showed us that she was a little bit insecure. And it's always better to be a little bit softer touch with an insecure dog than it is to be more aggressive. We just got done talking about another dog trainer in town that likes to use aggressive approach, and that's the worst thing for these sort of dogs. All right, so we've also been working on some clicker training, and so what I'm going to have Hunter do is I'm going to have her come over and tell her to sit and grab a handful of treats, And when she sits, give her and you see her back leg. She's got a little bit of a lean right there. And so that lean tells us that she's not comfortable. So go ahead and get her into a down and then have her hand on the clicker. Once she gets into a down, I want you to click for looks at your face. So go all the way down and then just leave it there on the ground. There you go. And just you're going to click for looks at her face, at your face. And then treat. Now, we can assign any word we want. If it's a specific person, a lot of times what I would say is say the name of the person. So at this point, I want you to, after you give her that treat, I want you just kind of cross your legs and look away and just ignore her. Watch her out of the corner of your eye and every time she, right there, and then treat her. So we're not telling her to look at us. We're basically just saying when you look at us, good stuff is going to happen. Now we click, and we already primed the clicker. If you want to use a clicker, you need to prime the clicker. So Google how to prime the clicker or look it up on the website. So first we create the positive association. The clicker is designed to indicate you just did exactly what I want. I'm going to get a treat in your mouth as soon as I can. And after we give the treat, we're going to assign the marker, the command word. So if you want the dog just to look at people that she doesn't know, you might say friendly, or amigo. Don't worry about it. This is just for you. So if you make a little noise stepping around, that's totally okay. So that's a good thing that you can do. Now, if your dog is really standoffish, let's say the dog is where this little piece of art is. Well, actually, let's say it's where this little teddy bear is right here. And so let's say the dog is keeping distance away from your guest. You can have a clicker in your hand and just watch your dog and just have a conversation with your guest. Be normal. And then as soon as your dog looks at the guest, click, and then give the dog the treat and say the guest's name. Or you could say friendly, or just eyes, or check it out, or look, or something like that. That means to look at the person. So if it's a specific person that the dog's fearful of, I would say that person's name every time you give the treat. So we're creating a marker for every time I look at Hunter, I get a treat. So looking at Hunter is a good thing. But the thing about it, what we're not doing is trying to lure the dog to look. We're waiting for the dog to do it on its own. When it looks on its own, we click, and then we give it a treat, and we say friendly or the person's name. And after a while, at first the dog's doing it, it's accidental. After a while, the dog will start doing this on its own intentionally. Now, Hunter's going to do another version of this. So the first step for this would be, well, actually, if you have a guest who's really nervous, what I would do is I would give them a bunch of treats and have them toss the treat halfway between the dog and the guest. And we're not going to entice, we're just going to throw it. And if the dog gets the treat, they're going to get it and then run away. And keep doing that until the dog's coming in and kind of lingering and not showing the lean in their back's legs. Then I start dropping a little bit closer, a little bit closer, a little bit closer to the person till the dog's walking all the way up to him. So that could be the first stage. Or if the dog won't come near the person, only comes a couple feet, then I would do the click for every time the dog looks at the person. Now, while we're doing this, Aurora should not be here barking because she will foul things up. And so Chloe here is learning from Aurora's bad behavior. And so I would have somebody take Aurora out for a walk or take her downstairs and give her a bully stick or something to preoccupy her. So the first stage is either click for looking at the person or tossing the treats to get the dog to come to the person. When the dog eventually comes to the person, you're going to hold your treat out to the side. So go ahead and hold one off to your side. For dogs, front facing is confrontational. So if you hold the treat out to the side and they're approaching from the side, that'll help the dog feel a little bit more comfortable. You should also have your guests try to avoid looking at your dog, talking to your dog, or trying to engage with the dog. Playing hard to get and letting the dog do all the work is a great way for the dog to feel more empowered. All right, so now what I'm going to have Hunter do is I'm going to have Hunter get up and kind of wander around the foyer over here. And he's going to do the same thing. As soon as she looks at him, he's going to click and give her a treat. Now, he can drop that one or give it to her. I'm going to have him actually give it to her at this point. There we go. Let's go ahead and come back this way so you're in the camera. There you go. So before, she was keeping her distance from him. Now she's following around and she's checking him out. He's my buddy. So when you're doing this, at first, all you're going to do is when you get up, you're kind of more commanding. So a lot of times the dog's going to have some more steps in between you. So as soon as you stand up, you're just going to walk around in the room. And anytime the dog looks at you, you're going to click and then give the dog that treat. Eventually, you're going to ask for a step towards you before you click. Keep going. I want to keep you and the dog in the shot. This is actually, ironically, part of how we teach a dog to heel. But now you see Chloe, her body language looks good. Her tail's up. She's not hunched over. She's giving him a lot of great eye contact. She's following around, and she's curious, and good things are happening. So this is a nice way for your dog to, again, have good interaction with people that they normally would be reactive and barking or moving away from. We're not telling them they can't do that. They can do that. It's just not going to respond to it. But as soon as you come towards me or follow me or look at me, great things happen. And after a while, you just like you see, and go ahead and grab a seat where I was sitting. And after a while, what you'll see is the dog is just engaging and wanting to be with you. Now, she is different than the little one that's down here. Yes, Alaskan Klee Kai. This is Aurora. And Aurora has learned that she's just going to bark and protest to say, I want you to leave. And she usually does it nonstop. She's practicing what we call avoidance right now. She's not looking at the camera or at me. She's looking away because she doesn't want me to be here. There you go. So she looked, and again, it's looking away. So the same things that we went over with Chloe can work with Aurora here. It's just going to take a little bit more practice with Aurora. And we might have to have a slower process, more distance, and we might have to wait a little bit longer. And we can also exercise more ahead of time first, and that'll help. Aurora, you are a cutie and a little bit of a handful, but we're going to get you there. Well, my name is David, and these are some tips and tricks you can use if you have dogs that are fearful of people or specific things that they look at.